Hi guys, Brendan Murphy here for Global Freedom Movement and the Global Freedom University, aka Truthiversity, and I'm just going to have a bit of a chat here with Kevin Galalae, who's going to be one of our contributors slash lecturers in the university structure. Kevin's an expert on the global depopulation or population control agenda, and we're really excited to have his input into the university. So I'm going to chat for about 5 or 7 minutes, and hope you enjoy it. And this is a little bit of a taste of what is to come. Obviously, just scratching the surface here. This is the first interview of this nature that we've done, and we'll have more coming. So stay tuned for that, and in the meantime, here is Kevin Galalae.
Well, I have 4 specific courses in mind. There are all of them are multidisciplinary, so they can't really be pegged in under one department. But I guess the most appropriate one would be political science. The first course that I have in mind would be probably the most important one, and I would like to call it the Matrix: Geopolitics, Global Order, and the Deep State. And this would be an overall view of the history of the global population control program and the globalization program. The two of them go, of course, hand in hand and are the axis around which the international order revolves since 1945. The second course would be called The Power of Activism and How to Change the World. And that would be a hands-on course on what it takes for individuals nowadays to take on the international system, because we're the first generation ever to be faced with this task. Prior to our generation, all the struggles were on a national basis for increasing democratic checks and balances and the rule of law and so on. The third course would be called Global Governance and the Birth of a Higher Civilization. And this would be a very detailed course on how to tackle the problems that we face today, which are global, planetary, really, and that require a global government, which is a very unpopular subject nowadays. And I believe people need to be educated in this respect, because unless and until we get a global governing structure that is functional, we cannot make any headway in solving the economic, environmental, and political problems that we face nowadays. And the last course that I have in mind would be called Surviving the Depopulation Genocide, and it would be very practical guide on how to identify and protect oneself against population control methods, specifically chemical and biological population control methods, which nowadays adulterate our basic elements of life, from food to water to beverages to consumer products and cosmetic products. And these are the 4 courses that I would like to teach. I already have the manuals for them. Broadly speaking, the first one, the Matrix course, would be based on my book Killing Us Softly, and on my book Chemical and Biological Depopulation, and of course on my major work Peace Without Poison. So there is a lot of material there. It just have to be made more systematic and sort of compressed, for in a lecture type setting. And more specifically, this course would deal with country by country, region by region, and culture by culture, and will show how different cultures and religions have tackled this problem, starting with the year 1000 AD, when this program of controlling population truly began. And then I come to the modern day, to the post-World War II international accommodation, the UN system, and so on, and discuss that and cover all of the specific methods, the chemical and biological methods for undermining fertility and longevity, the psychosocial and economic means for delaying family formation and subverting the family structure, the demographics and the hidden science and the secret face of genocide, which demographics represents. I will discuss the demographic transition and the consequence namely the epidemiologic transition, and of course the military-industrial complex and its authority to kill. This would be, the broad areas that I'll be discussing. In the second course, I would talk about the fact that we are the first generation to face global system and planetary problems. I would talk about the importance of integrity and courage as an activist operating in today's environment, about religion as a structural obstacle, about secularism and godlessness as the environment for perpetrating structural violence. I would talk about the UN systems and the evils of consensus by the lowest common denominator, and about the power to sacrifice as being the world's most important asset this day. And of course, understanding the world and what it takes to escape the shackles of history, because we are all products of our environment and of our history, and victims of history at the same time. And of course, how to change human behavior by advancing human understanding, how to communicate with the global audience, how to coordinate across national borders, and to outsmart the police state and its controls. I would talk about the new concept that I've created, really, called people's diplomacy, and how to force global policymakers to make policy changes without having the authority of political office. I would talk about the necessity of sovereign authority and the insanity of secrecy, and about the art and science of operating above and beyond this system. The third course, Global Governance and the Birth of a Higher Civilization, would have as its content the global problems that we face and why they require a global governing structure, the sustainable agenda and the secret goals of the deep state, the limits of democracy and the necessity of naturocracy, which is again a concept that I've created and I've defined. Also the new concept of planetary security prerogatives, which again is one that I have defined for the first time, about the new trinity of global governance, which is the three overarching goals, namely peace among men, harmony between man and nature, and continuity between this and future generations. I would also cover the need for a new axial age and its emerging features, and discuss the principles of global governance and the design of higher standards of leadership. In the last course, surviving the depopulation genocide, as I said, would be very, very practical, merely teaching people how to identify the chemical and biological toxins that adulterate our basic elements of life, and how to protect themselves and their children, which is the most immediate concern for the vast majority of people, because as people find out about the population control program, they want to protect themselves, but they're at a loss. They don't know how to do it. And teaching them how to do it, in basic terms, would be very helpful, very useful. People seem to have most interest for these practical, what would become day-to-day skills until these poisons are eliminated from our environment.
Yeah.
This is what I have to offer to the new university.
Brilliant. No, that's great. That's a great wrap-up. So I think everyone's going to be pretty excited to get into that. And also, I think, like you say, a lot of people are going to be really happy that you're going to have that fourth very pragmatically oriented aspect as well, which is going to be really good for people, because that is one of the issues that we have at the moment in general, is we provide information, there's so much information floating around, but actually trying to pragmatically apply that on a day-to-day basis in your life is a challenge for a lot of people. So that's great that you've catered to that need there. Really good.
It is actually a vast subject. There's a lot to know and a lot to do. It is not as easy or as simple as one might think. It takes discipline, knowledge, extra money, and setting your priorities or resetting your priorities if you want to be successful in protecting yourself and your family while this program rages on. And it appears that it'll be going on for another 5 years before we succeed in shutting it down.
Well, I think that's exactly what we need for these purposes, Kevin. You've given a great outline there. People know exactly what they can expect from you in the university, and I think they're going to get a lot out of your teachings, and we're really grateful to have you on board. So, ladies and gents, this has been Kevin Galalae, and I'm Brendan Murphy for Global Freedom Movement, and we're really looking forward to having Kevin in the university as soon as it's up and running, guys. So thanks for your time, and we'll be in touch again soon. And thank you, Kevin.
Thank you for the opportunity, Brendan.
Right.
Good luck with it. It's a wonderful project. I fully support it.